news tonight. Federal government proposes 47.9 trillion naira as 2025 budget. Remains of the late Chief of Army Staff arrive Abuja for burial. Now on the foreign scene, Israeli authorities caused deliberate and forced displacement of Palestinians in Gaza. Good evening, the major reports. I am Babatunde Fanowopo. The federal government has proposed 47.9 trillion naira as the total expenditure in the 2025 budget. Atiku Bagudu, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, told journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Bola Tinubu. The approval is part of the medium-term expenditure framework, MTEF, and fiscal strategy paper for 2025 to 2027 in accordance with the Fiscal Responsibility Act of year 2007. The National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, has warned that obstructing security under President Bola Tinubu's administration will not be tolerated. He said this at the Comptroller General of Customs Conference in Abuja, emphasizing the President's determination to eliminate bandits, terrorists, and other security threats. According to Ribadu, the government high-level strategies have led to the killing of hundreds of bandits daily, forcing many to flee to Chad, which has prompted the Chadian president to declare war on them. He further cited the improved security situation in the Niger Delta region and the significant increase in crude oil production, which had reached 1.8 million barrels per day. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has announced the deployment of DIG Abiodun Alabi as the coordinating officer for the Ondo governorship election, tasked with overseeing police security strategies to maintain law and order throughout the electoral period. DIG Alabi will be supported by AIG Bennett Igwe and CP Tunji Disu, assigned as AIG and CP elections respectively. According to a statement from the force headquarters, these deployments are part of comprehensive security measures aimed at ensuring a peaceful, transparent, and credible electoral process during the Ondo off-season gubernatorial election scheduled for Saturday, November 16. The Nigeria Police Force urged citizens to report suspicious activities that could compromise the election's integrity and reiterates its commitment to a safe and democratic electoral environment. Additionally, dedicated helplines for election-related inquiries and incident reporting will be publicized ahead of Election Day. The police will also collaborate with the military and other federal security agencies, emphasizing that stakeholders' cooperation is vital for a fair and peaceful election. Similarly, the Defense Headquarters has confirmed that troops have been deployed in significant number for the Ondo State governorship election. The Defense Headquarters stated that the deployment was to support the Nigeria Police Force and ensure a smooth election in the state. In a statement, Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Buba Edward, said the presence of troops would ensure that voters can exercise their franchise without harassment. He said troops are also deployed in strength to assist the police in ensuring a smooth off-cycle governorship election in Ondo State, scheduled for this Saturday. Buba also reported that various operations in the northern part of the country led to the death of 88 terrorists and the arrest of 228 suspects. He said troops are conducting an onslaught to crush terrorists in the northwest and other parts of the country. The Osun State Governor, Senator Adeleke, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the state's development, promising the speedy completion of the infrastructural projects embarked upon by his administration. Governor Adeleke stated this during an inspection tour of the ongoing Okefia flyover project in Osogbo, the state capital. The governor assured residents of our swift completion of the project, which is expected to significantly ease traffic congestions and boost economic activities in the capital city. According to the governor, the inspection aligns with the state government's broader agenda of delivering critical infrastructure projects aimed at enhancing the quality of life for the people of the state. He speaks further.
On 27th of anniversary, they will complete this, Abi?
Yes.
Yes. The road will be completed, and this one is looking good already. So when do you think this one will be completed?
We are looking towards December, January.
December, January.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time. Osogbo is beautiful now, right? It's looking good, and I'm happy.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, Gas Marketing Limited, a subsidiary of NNPCL, has executed a gas sale and purchase agreement with the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals, Lagos. The agreement signed by the Managing Director of NGML, Justin Ezeala, and the President, Chief Executive Officer of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, at the corporate head office of Dangote in Palomo, Lagos, outlines the supply of natural gas for power generation and feedstock at the refinery. This major milestone is in line with President Bola Tinubu's policy of utilizing Nigeria's abundant gas resources towards revamping the nation's industrial growth and kickstarting its economic prosperity. According to the Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, Femi Shoneye, NGML will supply 100 million standard cubic feet of gas per day, and the rest 50 mm SCF/D interruptible natural gas would be supplied to the refinery for an initial period of 10 years, with options for renewal and growth. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has released on bail 2 persons who were listed as defendants in the first 16-count charge it filed against the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yaya Bello. The commission, which confirmed the development when the case came up before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory at Maitama, however, decried its inability to serve a copy of the charge on the former governor. When the matter was called up, neither ex-Governor Bello nor any of his lawyers were in court. EFCC lawyer Mr. Jami Aguru told the court that Bello's co-defendants Umar Oricha and Abdusalami Hudu were released from detention pending their proposed arraignment. He said the anti-graft agency had on October 18 complied with an order the court made after it issued a public summons for the first defendant, Bello, to appear before it to enter his plea to the charge. Agro noted that the public summons on Bello, which has a 30-day lifespan, was still extant and would expire by November 17. Former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Atairu Jega, has asserted that members of the National Assembly encourage corruption in the public sector, even as he called for a stop to public officers acquiring traditional titles while still in service. Jega made the remarks while delivering his keynote address at an executive session with heads of ministries, departments, and agencies on normative approaches to corruption prevention, organized by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses Commission, through its Anti-Corruption Academy of Nigeria with the support of the Marketer Foundation. He asserted that the lawmakers put chief executives of MDAs under difficult position through the tactics they adopt to recoup monies they spend to attain their positions. According to former INEC boss, leadership by example is important, but it is also difficult under Nigeria's current circumstances because pressure keeps coming from all angles, not only necessarily from friends, families, but even from other agencies within the service, within the public sector organizations. The extent to which anti-corruption agencies will work to deal with some of the bad eggs in other sectors in public enterprises will go a long way, Jega said. 24 hours after his swearing in, Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo has approved the dissolution of the executive of all boards, agencies, and parastatals in the state public service with immediate effect. The directive, which affected all permanent secretaries appointed outside the civil service, also ordered contractors in the state to return to site, asking them to immediately fix all failed portions within the Benin metropolis. In the same vein, he ordered the immediate and indefinite suspension of the collection of all revenues in the state, especially in motor parks, until further notice. In a statement by his chief press secretary, Fred Itwa, the governor ordered all affected appointees to hand over all government properties in their possession to the most senior public officers in their respective ministries, departments, and agencies. In another statement, the governor ordered the State Commissioner of Police to arrest anyone who flouted the order of revenue collection suspension. The governor said he would review the issues surrounding the collection soon and decide on the way forward. Speaking during an inspection tour of the Upper Mission Extension Road by Aduwawa Junction and the Ramat Park axis in Benin City, Okpewolo said his administration, in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu, remained committed to restoring the hope of Edo people, decrying the bad state of the roads. The governor assured residents that work will commence immediately. Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke, in preparation for the burial of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, received a high-powered delegation of the Nigerian Army in his office. Governor Adeleke, who praised the decision to accord the late general a state burial, described it as a well-deserved honor for a national hero whose contributions will be remembered for years to come. Governor's office correspondent Oluwatobilobo Dunuga has the details.
Osun State Governor Senator Adeleke received a delegation from the Nigerian Army, led by Chief of the Defense Accounts and Budget, Major General Kamal Yusuf. The delegation comprised 7 serving generals, including the General Officer Commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Ibadan, Major General Obina Onubogu, and other key service chiefs. In his remarks, Governor Adeleke expressed gratitude to the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Armed Forces, President Bola Tinubu, for approving a state burial for late General Taoreed Lagbaja. The governor, who paid a tribute to late General Lagbaja, acknowledged his exceptional service to Nigeria, describing the late general as a bright star whose untimely passing is a great loss to Osun State and the nation at large. Governor Adeleke further commended the Army's commitment to completed community projects initiated by General Lagbaja in Ilobu, Ifon, and Osun, noting that this dedication reflects the late general's legacy of development and service to his people. The governor assured delegation of his administration's support, promising to oversee the completion of the ongoing project in honor of the late general's vision. Earlier, Major General Kamal Yusuf, head of the military delegation, conveyed the Nigerian Army's condolences and outlined the planned arrangement for the burial of late General Lagbaja. He presented an official letter from the military leadership to Governor Adeleke, reaffirming the Army's commitment to ensuring a befitting farewell for the late general. General Yusuf praised Lieutenant General Lagbaja's leadership, noting that his brief tenure as Chief of Army Army staff left an indelible mark on the Nigerian Army and the nation as a whole, emphasizing that the late general's legacy of leadership, community service, and nation building will continue to inspire both the armed forces and the people of Osun State. The delegation, accompanied by Governor Adeleke, Deputy Governor Prince Kola Adewusi, and Chief of Staff to the Governor Alhaji Kazim Akinleye, among other members of the State Executive Council, also visited the palace of the Olobo of Ilobu, Oba Ashuru Olaniyan. They also paid a visit to the family of the late General Lagbaja, where prayers were offered for the peaceful repose of his soul. Dignitaries and military personnel also gathered to pay their respect to the fallen hero. It has been Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga reporting.
Meanwhile, the remains of the late Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tariq Lagbaja, have arrived in Abuja in preparation for his final interment. His body arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport this afternoon. The funeral services are scheduled to commence today with a service of songs. This will be followed by his interment tomorrow afternoon. According to the Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Wachuku, Lagbaja will be buried at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja tomorrow. The body of the late Lagbaja was received in Abuja with a guard of honor as Nigeria's military top brass paid their respects. The remains were escorted down a red carpet at the presidential wing of the airport. In a statement, President Bola Tinubu extended his heartfelt condolences to the late Army Chief's family and the Nigerian Armed Forces. Born on February 28, 1968, Lieutenant General Lagbaja served as Chief of Army Staff for 1 year and 4 months following his appointment by Tinubu in June 2023. His military career began in 1987 at the Nigerian Defense Academy, and he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Nigerian Infantry Corps on September 19, 1992. Throughout his service, Lagbaja commanded operations that were vital to national security, including Operation Zaki in Benue, Lafia Dole in Borno, Udoka in the southeast, and Operation Forest Sanity in Kaduna and Niger State. You are welcome to our sports segment. Reigning African vice champions Nigeria know they will qualify for the 35th Africa Cup of Nations final tournament if they overcome the Cheetahs of Benin Republic in a 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualification campaign match 5, encountered in Abidjan tonight. And Okechukwu has this and more from the sports scene.
The win visually guarantees Nigeria's leadership of the group going into the final day tussle, with England-based centre-back Semi Ajayi absent as a result of injury. Coach Augustine Eguavon is most likely to start with the rear guard that squared up to the Mediterranean Knights of Libya in Uyo last month, meaning Captain Williams Ekon and Kevin Bassey as centre-back, with wings-back Ola Olua Aina and Bruno Onyemechi. On the other hand, the Cheetahs with 6 points cannot afford any more slip-up following the tumble in Kigali, as they could still be toast if they lose their last 2 games. Meanwhile, Rwanda on 5 earned a minimum of 2 points in their own final 2, and Libya with only 1 point. In underdevelopment, a popular columnist with Turkish outlets Oriyet Ogmeleke says Victor Osimhen is far above the Turkish league, predicting that Nigeria's striker will score 30 for Galatasaray this season, barring bad luck and injury. The prediction that is fast gaining traction across the Turkish top flight came on the back of Galatasaray's 3-2 win over Samsunspor, where the Nigerian striker scored a brace to take his tally across all competitions for the Turkish champions to 8, beside 4 crucial assists. The 25 years old arrived from Napoli on a second long loan and has contributed a lot to Galatasaray in a short time, making 2 assists and scoring 6 goals in as many league matches. The former league star has also scored 2 goals and provided 1 assist in 3 Europa League matches. According to reports, Napoli are opening the door at 75 million euros, and the player desire a move elsewhere as soon as possible. A welcome development for Galatasaray, who want to turn into an advantage with plans to increase the transfer fee to 50 million euros and are negotiating with the Chinese bank for the stars players' transfer fee. Osimhen was recently linked with a move to Fenerbahce, with their head coach Jose Mourinho expressing his desire to have Osimhen on the team. According to the report, the club are intensifying efforts to sign the players with their president Ali Ko. And Okechukwu reporting for OSBC.
And on the foreign scene, Israeli authorities have caused massive and deliberate forced displacement of Palestinians in Gaza in what amounts to a war crime. Abimbola Adejoro has this and more from the foreign scene.
Orders and statements by the senior Israel officials to show the authorities in Israel are deliberately and permanently making returning to large areas of Gaza effectively impossible for the Palestinian population. Israel forces have destroyed majority of Gaza's water, sanitation, communication, energy and transport infrastructure, as well as its schools and hospitals, and systematically razed orchard fields and greenhouse. Author Nadia Hardman told journalists in a news conference that so many civilian infrastructure has been destroyed and so much of Gaza had been rendered inhabitable. Meanwhile, a satellite image shows an area the Israel military has completely razed to cut the Gaza Strip in two and has called the Netzarim Corridor. In another development, United States Special Counsel Jack Smith have prepared to step down ahead of Donald Trump's second term. Federal prosecutors have asked an appeal court to pause their bid to revive the criminal case against the United States President-elect Donald Trump, who was accused of mishandling classified documents after his first time as president ended. According to a report, Special Counsel Jack Smith made a request in the United States Court of Appeal for the 11th Circuit asking for the time to assess the impact of Trump's pending return to the White House. A federal judge appointed in the bench by Trump dismissed the case in July after the ruling that Smith was improperly under the special counsel rule. However, Smith says that if the court grants the pause, it's obvious would return a decision on how it's planned to proceed in no later than next month. Abimbola Adejoro reporting for OSBC News.
With a report from the foreign scene, we have come to the end of the major reports on OSBC TV. It was edited by Kayode Adebayo. I am Babatunde Fanoko saying thanks for watching. Good night.